Hey everyone, I'm Danny Rosenthal. I'm the Director of Community at Enginehire, and I'm really excited to do this event with you guys. How all pair agencies use technology to save time and improve their processes. I mentioned this a little bit before, as I had jumped on a little bit early, just to share that I would love for you to use the chat as we go. This is kind of like a very big topic. And as we go in the chat, feel free to ask questions. I love to move around to make sure everybody's getting exactly what they came here for. Um, a little bit about this is we're doing this because we get this really cool bird's eye view of what agencies need. Like our company is built on everything agencies ask for. So like I said, this really cool bird's eye view, it can share a lot of the things that you probably know, maybe
Française.
you've never heard of, and maybe you're already crushing it doing all of this. So I'm gonna jump in so we don't waste any time on this. Um, but hopefully, and what I really want you to get out of this is maybe a few nuggets of information that you're like, oh yeah, totally. But yeah, like I said, use the chat. We'll jump right in. So how all pairs agencies use technology to save time and improve their processes. Um, it's all about really making sure your personal touch is used throughout your process. I think that that's where the really key comes in. So again, I'm the director of community at Enginehire. I wrote a book called Nanny ABC's The Sitter's Handbook on how to be a really good sitter. I mean, there's really very few resources on how to work with families,
Oui,
and that's what the
fatiguée,
crux of
lui.
that is.
Ah,
I
faut
have
que je parle
17
fort.
years in childcare, and I do a lot of things where I'm featured. I guess that's tooting my own horn on that, but I really don't mean to make it sound like that big of a deal. Here we go. So we're talking about all of this stuff is about less effort with a bigger payoff. That's what the technology is for. That's what technology has always been for. Before the pencil, people were chiseling out things in stone, which is very cool because it lasts a long time. Uh, but there's a lot of effort. So less effort, bigger payoff. Really get what you're trying to do across your services. Should really be straightforward and told to everybody, making it easy for them. So the first thing that really any agency really needs to be keen on is how you collect the information. Um, Collecting information, you can do it in all sorts of ways. It can be a phone call, it can be a form. Um, I like the process of getting, and I see it a lot, you know, of you get a form and that's where everything kind of starts. And in fact, a lot of people, they can, some people automate every single piece of this and are very hands off throughout it. But some people are very hands on, making sure that everybody matches perfectly with what they're looking for. So in this, you know, be make it easy, have it be simple, and use asking these questions to your advantage. So the first thing in this is, this is just very common stuff. You're just getting their basic information. And this is also a very great thing to have as maybe depending on your process, the only thing or the only thing on your website that they can fill out can be this. And then you can shoot them a message with more forms to fill out. But when you're beginning, it's really important that you make it easy for someone to you know, find out without feeling like they're telling you everything. Like they don't know you yet. And that's one of those things that I see. And it's on a lot of websites. There a lot of websites you'll get that little lead magnet of hey, 10 things you can do, and you're willing to give your email for it. But would you be willing to give your address and your phone number? It's probably not, maybe, if it's a really, really helpful. So a lot of times people can take this form and they make it enormous. And what we see with our product is um, people will start the form and then they'll stop. um, because it's just a lot and it can be a little invasive, and maybe that's not like all the things you're willing to give. So making it simple and very clear to get like the most important information. So once you have like their name and their email address, you can send them more stuff and you can move the process along. It makes it really easy to get everybody further. So here, this one's based on like matchmaking information. But the thing that I really love about this one is at the top, this form is a longer form. It's like surprise longer form. But what it does is it's showing it in bits. So this one was divided into 4 bits. So you can have making it simplistic of like, okay, this is on the page, this is what I'm filling out. And they can go along at their like own pace and really show like or like add to their content. Like they're going to write more if they feel like that they're not overwhelmed with that long list of things. Um, yeah. So I really love doing that thing. And I'll also say, like, depending on your forms, like, it's a great way to make things required that you absolutely need to know. And then again, like, depending on your process, you might need to know everything way up front. Um, but depending on your process, make things required that like you absolutely need to know, and let other things be something that you can go back and ask for later. In this one, before I totally move on, I have to show you this because I think that this is really an important thing, and I see a lot of agency owners skip over this part of their process. This one field has like an example in it. It's a placeholder. Um, you can do this in a lot of like your platforms, and what I like about it is that it really narrows in on the exact type of information you're looking for. So I don't have one in here. There might be one further down in my list, but having uh, a little, what duties are you looking for from your caregiver to fulfill, and then be as specific as possible. So you're narrowing in on that information. You're really using the technology to get like exactly what you're looking for. This is not a phone call now. You're just narrowing it in. And then you have the placeholder, which is just an example. They start typing and it goes away. Um, but that's like one of those key things of just like narrowing it in. So like what are you looking for? Dates and times, more things that you're looking for. This is just like another sheet, but we're breaking it down to make it easy for them. Um, what I like about this is just like how simplistic people are. They fill out the form, and then it's like boom, you get the email that's like, hey, you filled out the form, and then um, you get this like, hey, go a little bit further. I love that email of, hey, you fill out the form, maybe you have it only like a few steps, maybe you ask for very little information, and then it automatically sends them an email or it's a pop-up to go further into your site and give you more information. So from there, my next favorite thing is really talking about that personal touch. You can really add it in with technology. I know a lot of agencies when we talk to them that they're like, my process. They'll be like, I know you can do like all these things automated, but they're like, my whole thing is how high touch I am with my clients and candidates. Um, with that, I'd say there's a lot of things you can do where you're still at the exact same level of high touch, but you make it easier for yourself. It's not all about like an automation thing. Is not just about like having things happen and you're not even like watching it happen. You can have like a template. So like, I think at the very, easiest way to do this is, you have like a Google Doc or, something where it's like you have all your email templates. So you're copying and pasting in. You can make it easier than that. Some platforms, you hit a button and it moves somebody through your system to the next level to do some more things. And you get an email that pops up that's like, hey, this is your template and you can adjust it in there. So I like writing templates where it's very basic, but it could be sent immediately. Like you don't have to tune it up at all, or it's written in a way where you can add in information that's specific to the conversation you just had, or maybe looking for more of that information that you don't have based on what you've already got. So you get that form, you have that phone call, it's a really nice meeting. It was great to hear about that thing that we talked about on that phone call, or great to see that thing that was in your form. I'm really looking forward to working with you. So the personal touch for me is really done in a lot of emails. So you get that thank you for signing up. They do the form. Thanks for signing up. In that form, or sorry, in that next email, before you're going through your process or simultaneously going through your process, it's awesome to build up that confidence, that bond between you and them, candidate and client. Build that bond. So that first email would just be like introducing yourself. A lot of times you can have free resources in it. There's, my next slide in it says like, 3 free resources. But sometimes you have to just introduce yourself and be like, hey, I'm so and so from this thing. I really love working with you. I got your form. It was great to get that form. I think we could really help you. You can say it in all sorts of ways. And then I like that in your next email, um, I guess let me just say this other thing. I think it's great to have a brand and your personality. So I think that there's things that you can do with both of them. I talk about this with like big agencies and small agencies of where they're like, I really like my personality and my people to know my staff and things like that, to have that back and forth. And that is excellent. I'd also say it's really important and great for you to build a brand personality. And I'd say that because the argument against just having everybody know your name and other people's name on your staff is if they have a bad experience with that staff member, they could go like, I don't like that person, but I still love your brand and everything you're doing. Or sometimes, that staff member leaves and they felt that they had built their whole bond with your company around that person and they're not there anymore. And so like now they feel like they don't really know your brand. So make sure you're giving it a good mix of this stuff. So the free resources, that's just a great way to share, like maybe it's your welcome packet. Maybe it's 3 things that like you just think that they should know about. Maybe it's a blog to being like, hey, we find this blog is really helpful for people. Or maybe it's something else. If it was mine, I might give away like the first 3 chapters of my book, and be like build that bond there. And then check-ins, those are really important, so you can get people stuck on certain parts, and depending on how high touch you are, I guess even low, uh people can get stuck in certain areas for all sorts of reasons. Things are going on in their life, it feels too hard or complicated to do that. Maybe you're asking for a time to like meet with them and their schedule's too busy. So a check-in and I would say reminder emails are the most underrated thing. So, you can use mass email marketing to like, send things and just be on people's mind in that way. But if you're using a system that lets you do automated emails based on where people are in your system, I think that is like that is one of those really great things that technology has let us do. So these check-ins would be like, they're at a certain part in your process and they haven't moved forward. You need them to do something else. And just like I love those like placeholders and those little field remarks to tell them like, hey, narrow in that stuff. It's great to be like, hey, what's going on? Probably don't say it like that, but sharing like, hey, I realize you're busy. We have this much information with you. I'd love to jump on this process with you and get this moving, or there's a couple things that we could like share with you, but we got to get on that phone call with you, or whatever it could be. It could just be asking for more information. They could just be stuck at that very beginning part where they gave you a little information but they never filled out the rest of their form, and you need that information to get them going. And so you don't want to lose any leads. You already got them a little bit in your funnel. Just get them all the way. That's, to me, that's the real goal, is to make sure that all these people are leading to that end placement that you make for them. It's really crucial to me. Um, and then here's one of those other things that technology has let us do. In certain systems, you can just have share a video. It can be a pre-recorded video, or you can make it super hyper personalized. You can also do that now, like automated. There are sites where you can have that pre-recorded video that inserts somebody's name, it could show them like the one that I just saw like 2 days ago was like it showed someone like signing a contract, and it was I saw it for me. It was like my name signing a contract, and I was like, oh, that is very cool. I didn't realize that. But a little bit lower than that, maybe it'll higher. I don't know. It's up to you on how you like doing things. But sending someone a video, being like, "Hey, I just got all your stuff. I'm really looking forward to working with you further," and send. Like, make it informal. I mean, like, you see my background right here. Like, there's nothing on my shelf. I just took off all my books, reorganizing, and yeah, it's just like it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hyper perfect. They want to meet you. They want to know, if you're really busy, that's some people love that, like it's like you're doing things. So it's great to be like, I took this time to send you a personal video, even though I'm really busy. And that can mean a tremendous amount. That's one of those things that they just go, oh, I trust this person. This person is working with me. They're not like those other people. Um, yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I know that this chat is like not really happening, but if there's any questions you have along the way, I'm happy again to answer those and dive deeper into this stuff. Or wait till the end. So further than this is efficiency. Um, you know, that's really what this is about with like time saving. So kind of like what I showed with these forms earlier is how narrow and how helpful getting these forms are for you in the future with your process. So these are two real examples of resumes from au pairs, and they're quite dreadful. Au pairs aren't like the greatest at creating a resume. I've definitely had people come in and say like, I don't even use a resume. I just like filling out the paperwork, and that's great. And maybe you don't need resumes with your stuff, but you definitely need to know all that background information about them. So maybe you have a process where you gather the resume and then you send that out to clients. Um, but like I said, like if you're sending more than one, which you most likely are, you don't want it to be confusing. You don't want to spend that time either, like taking somebody's dreadful resume and making it shine, like, and making it palatable, making sure everything's written in a way where you know what your clients want, you know how they read things, you know exactly what they're looking for. And au pairs just don't often know exactly what the best part of them are that makes them shine, and making that compatibility match that people are looking for. So here's a fake one of me. And what I've done there is it's pulled the information from a form and it's put it right into a resume on the site. This one is also shareable, right? So you need that link where you can share this with other clients. You can also do this vice versa. If you're trying to get a candidate to work with, you can send them their profile. But what I love about this is it's taking that information. You had already narrowed it down. So they had written things exactly the way that you wanted it. And now it's pulled that information and it's put it in here. Um, and it's making it so when your clients are seeing these back to back, they can really make it easy. This one shows just a top thing of all of that, but you can see on the left side of the form, it has the education, employment history, the references. You can put as much as you want in there. There's badges in this one, which would be like, they've gone to this much schooling, they've been in au pair for this long, they've been to this many countries, they've worked with this many families. Like you can have a badge for anything. The sky is the limit, and you want to talk these people up. So making it easy for them to have talked themselves up is critical in this. Yeah, that's basically this. I'll share that like from the beginning of like making it really easy. Of like the forms, that's this form leading down and making it into this form. I know I kind of ran through that pretty fast, but let me just give you this last overview of the things that I think are critical and really helpful in technology. And we can talk about um, ways that you can do this. Yeah, I just love to make sure that like you're really getting the most out of like what you're doing, making it simpler for you. So lead capturing. That's like what I said at the very beginning of, you know, seeing how far someone's coming in your process. If you have, just by the way, if you have analytics on this stuff, which you can have like through a piece of technology, or you could just see, you know, where people, what status they're at, like how far have they gone in your system, and you can look and you can see where that bottleneck is. So when you have like analytics of any kind, you know, you can just do pen and paper. It doesn't have to be crazy, but see where that bottleneck is of where people stop moving forward, and then see what automations you can do or what touches you can have to move them further through your process. So you see that they stop at just giving you their names and stuff. That's a great place to put in those emails that say like, hey, I know you're stuck here. Uh, Let me know if you need help moving forward in this. A CRM, that's just the basics of what we're talking about here, is seeing where people move from one place to the other, making sure everybody's taken care of in all those spots. You know, it's a client resource management system, client relations management system. I guess people use different things. But yeah, it's just making sure that you're managing your clients and candidates well. I'd love to think, I'm sure you do too, of thinking of them both as, you know, equally important in the ecosystem of your au pair agency. So getting that CRM to do exactly what you want, and then maybe using other technologies outside of it, or maybe there's one that encompasses all of it. Find one that's really working from you, or for you, I mean, not from you. Email sequences. This can be massive on, you know, a large scale. In fact, I'm going to talk about email sequences and marketing together. I think they're both the same. So in our system, people can do a lot of email triggers, which, you know, mean for us, uh, you can take information that's already in the system and you can have that mean something to an email that's automated. So a really common one, if you're not already doing this and you have capabilities to do this, or maybe you don't and you want to like research it now, is like birthdays. Birthdays for children, birthdays for candidates as well. Just having an automatic email that sends to them on their birthday that says like, hey, we're thinking of you, how's it going? Another one that I really like is, depending where people are in your process or stuck in your process, or they've decided not to move forward with your process, put them in an email sequence where 30 days after, it can be whatever timeline you want, right? But 30 days after they've stopped moving forward with you, send them an email that just says like, hey, how's, you know, it coming with you finding the right au pair for yourself? Like, how is that search going? For I've seen a lot of agencies, and not a lot of agencies, because a lot of agencies don't know to do this. So do this. Like, we're on the Zoom right now. I'm telling you, like, do this one. This email of like, hey, how's it going? It's a very high conversion rate of people talking and coming back to you. And it does because it shows that you cared. It's been 30 days since you talked to them, and they're still, and you're still thinking about them. This doesn't have to be an email that you send, you know, on your own, depending on your capabilities. Like, send it on your own. Like, just make sure that this stuff is getting further through the system. Yeah. Thanks for the muting yourself. Yes, if everyone can please mute yourself next time, that can help other people listen. Yeah. So then email marketing and these email sequences are the same thing. Like, think of them as the same thing. So as people are in your system, you know, you can have triggers going and meeting people where they are, but also reminding them to go forward and reminding them what that you're thinking about them and care about them. You know, sending a newsletter, that's a great thing. Sending 5 tips on X, Y, and Z, that's a great thing to share. It don't have to be limited. When I worked with a certain agency, there was a person on our email list, um, for a whole year. They moved 0 places, and then so in this email list, we could see, you can track, you know, what's been delivered, what's been clicked on, what's been opened, and what's been bounced. Um, and this person was on the email list for a year. You could see they've opened 0 emails for a year. They did not use it, but they never remove themselves from our emails campaigns. And one day after a year, they clicked on it and they went through our entire process, like lickety split. Like it was just something that they needed. They thought about it maybe a year ago. They didn't move forward. And then a year later, they were like, yes. And you know what? You've been building confidence with me and building that bond. And I'm coming back to you because I trust you now. They probably didn't move forward with anybody else. Maybe if they did too, like maybe like that, it just didn't work out. And they're like, you know what? I've built this bond with these people and I need to move forward with them. So tracking people there is fantastic. I could talk about email marketing stuff and sequences all day. I really love that stuff. And then profiles. Make it really easy for your clients and candidates to complete that stuff, and then make it really versatile, or not versatile. You want to make it very similar for people to gauge people next to each other. So you have that thing right at the top that says, how many years have you been doing this? How many years have you been doing? How many years of education? What level of education do you have? And just put that all at the top. I mean, have it in the profile anywhere, but we find the top thing is really that best part, because you'll send those profiles, they'll read them all, and then they'll go down and they'll read everything that one time. But after that, they don't need to read that person anymore. They just want to see that picture of that person, or maybe you don't use the picture, but they just want to see that information at the top. And it goes, yes, it jogs my memory of everything in there. And I don't have to compare this very further. But if I want to dive back in, I can. They can compare candidates really easily. Can you show us the program in real life? I would like to see the look and feel of the user interface. Um, I would love to pass you off for a real demo of Enginehire. I don't really want to make this salesy at all, but Alejandro, are you still on our call here? You could send in like a
Yeah, of
link.
course.
Yeah, please send it like a link for anyone that wants to like learn more about like Enginehire, like
Yeah,
in
of
there.
course. So I'm going
We
to
could
share
actually,
my meeting link if someone is interested. And I can also, we can also send you as well the recording of this webinar so that you can watch it again if you're interested. And yeah, we will be very, very excited to meet you and show you how our platform works if you're interested in learning how to use technology to help your agency grow.
yeah, thanks Alejandro. So yeah, put that in the chat, please, for anybody. And but again, like we'll send you an email with this recording. There's definitely agency owners that couldn't join us today, and we want them to get this information too. So put that, sorry, we'll put this recording in an email. You'll get that, and we can also make sure that you get a link to, sign up for a demo if that's something you're interested in. And then video. I just want to touch on these last few things. Alejandro has put the link in the chat. My chat's right over there. Video. Any sort of video is really helpful for people to understand more about what you're doing. It really builds a connection really fast. It just does. I don't remember the stats on it exactly, but agencies owners have asked us to make, a video system inside our platform. It's a great way for candidates to introduce themselves. You can have it for clients to introduce themselves to you. You could ask like, hey, I know my form is really long, but I would love to learn more about you. Here's a little thing on here for you to put like a little video about yourselves and what your needs are, and I would love like to see that. Uh, just a lot of this stuff with the technology things are, you can think of these things in lots of different ways. So candidates and clients for us uh, are equal. It's all part of the ecosystem. And if you see something working on one side, like it's not crazy to put in the other side. If it's not working, take it out. If people don't use it, like you don't need it there, or leave it in. Some people will use that. Like it really depends on your target market and who you're reaching out to and who like are your best clients and who are your best candidates. Make it easy for those people to move forward. So, like I said, like a video, it could be like they go through your form and then they hit submit, and then it pops up a video. It's like, hey, this would be like an automated video pre-recorded, and it would pop that up, and it would just be like, hey, here's like more about us. We just love to walk you through this our system in 2 minutes, and then you say all this stuff about like you know, it could be anything. It could just be introducing yourself. Off the top of my head, if you weren't going to do a thing on your system, you'd be like, hey, thanks so much for like submitting yeah, form. I look forward to doing it. I'm Danny. I'm the owner of the software agency, and we've worked with this many families, and I really look forward to learning more about yours and helping you make that perfect fit. Um, that's and that's that. And then AI. AI is one of those things. It's really big right now, and for really good reason. It's super helpful in taking things off your plate. Now, I wouldn't rely on AI 100%, and I know I didn't really use it in this uh, touch on it too much in here or at all yet. But here's where you could be using it. You could be using it in your forms. Make those forms when your forms are grabbing things and putting it in those resumes. Use AI to zhuzh it up a little bit. Um, yeah, make it easier for people to understand things. You know, give yourself a draft of it. Here's another few ways that I really like doing it. Maybe just start yourself off with a blog on that for your website of things, you know, give yourself maybe ideas for blogs. I've done a topic this similar with somebody else, with a different group. And in it, I had mentioned this thing about AI and blogs, and I was like, let AI just give you a draft. Like, you don't have time for that. You have the idea of like 10 things that you know, families need to know when working with all pair agencies. Put that in AI, and let it spit out a blog for you. Now, this other person was like, hey, Danny, I like to write my blogs. And then she said, I give them to my, you know, copywriter to rewrite it so it looks better. And I was like, that's the exact same thing as what I'm talking about, except for like you spent all the time like with the draft. Like, let it give a draft. You look it over. You can judge it up yourself. Or you could give it to somebody else, or you could do all sorts of things with it. But it's really just like the time saver. Like, it's not inauthentic for you to uh, create a blog of with information and or B rather. It's like, maybe, you know, that's not what you're looking for. Maybe you're just looking to create more and more resources for your clients and candidates. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's all up to you. But really, like, these are just, you know, ways that you can be doing this to save yourself time, move things along, build your brand, build your agency, make more placements, get help more people. That's what it's about. Um, to look up things that you could do more with AI, I would highly suggest. If there's AI built into a system, like we've built it into our system. If it's built into a system, like definitely like use all those options there. At least try them out as these things are available to you. If you're not doing it now, you're just going to be further behind in using this stuff and understanding it. And I think it's really important for any business owner to just stay at the top of you know, what's happening here. And then automated reference checker. Um, have it so in a message uh somebody can put in their reference information. So like, I worked with this person at this date, here's their phone number, email, so you can do your reference check with them. In our system, we have it so it can automatically send an email to that person with the questionnaire. It's the exact same questionnaire that many people will just call on the phone for. But again, it's just saving you that time. You can get the questionnaire, have that automated, get that questionnaire back. You still might want to call that family. There's nothing crazy about that. And you can be like, hey, I just wanted to confirm that like we got this questionnaire. Um, in our system, it shows IP addresses, so you can see if like someone has put in their reference, got that automated email, and then filled it out themselves. Um, you know, that's a great thing with that. Um, I know that we're moving on time, so I just wanted to put it out there. Like, if anybody has any questions, you use the chat, or you know, now's a good time to take yourself off mute and ask. So I know I've talked a lot, but does anybody have any questions? I'm gonna take this moment as if somebody is typing.
Hi, Danny. This is Patricia Brunner from IAPA, International Au Pair Association. I just wanted to thank you for your presentation. And I think for most of the people here, it will make a lot of sense to actually have a look or have a demo, or so that you can actually see what the system does, because it's always a bit difficult to imagine yourself. But we can already see it can do a lot, obviously.
Well,
Thank you.
no, I'm so excited that you're here. I know we've talked with you, but like I haven't gotten to talk with you, so I'm so excited you got to jump on and see this. It's
Of
really exciting that
course.
you're here. Oh my gosh, everybody, it's Brenda, Patricia. Sorry. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? How do you handle the back office, i.e., visa processes? Um, that is a great question. This might be something more that Alejandro might know more from demos. I'm not familiar with how we do visa processes and if that's capable. I'll touch on that though, that one of the things that we do and in Enginehire, and again, like I don't want this to be like an Enginehire plug. I just want to share with you like the things that we know. But with Enginehire, like a lot of people, agency owners, reach out to us all the time with things that they're looking for, and we're lucky enough to have a team of developers, a very committed customer support team to hear you out and to put it through the pipeline and see if that's something we can build for you. Like I mentioned at the beginning, everything that we've built has been stuff that people have asked for. And that's really just like the premise of like what we're trying to give to you. So like, we're software based on like helping au pair agencies. And yeah, we haven't come from other staffing ideas really. It's all about that care placements have been like the crux of our business so far. So making sure that like you get that stuff done, like send us ideas. We love to hear those. Yeah, does anybody else have any questions? Fantastic. Well, yeah, well, we'll be sending you a recording of this. Feel free to watch it, take a look back. And if you get any questions at that point, just send us an email back. We'd love to talk with you. It doesn't even have to be Enginehire based. Again, we just really want you to be really successful and realize that there's a lot of options out there for you in simplifying your day to day, making it easier. Yeah. Alejandro, I know that you kind of set all of this up. So is there anything else that we wanted to make sure that people heard? Oh, yeah. Alejandro typed in the chat if you don't see it. We're able to store
Yeah,
the documents. Do you want to talk about a little bit about that, Alejandro, since you're the
yeah, of course. So, like regarding the visa process, what we can do is that we will be able to create like an exclusive folder for each one of your au pairs, so that you can have all of the documentation and all of the all of the documents and information regarding the visa. And we also have a great expiring tracking system, just in case there are like documents that are going to expire or something like that, so that you can have everything up to date in your agency. So that is the only thing that we have for now for that. But we should definitely like think about it to see if we're able like to provide you more support with that process.
Yeah, that's exactly like what I'm talking about. Is
Yeah,
it's one of those things that, you know, we need to hear from you so we can build it better.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly like that. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, but I'm gonna give everybody, one more chance group wise to ask any questions that they want to ask. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn off the recording here.